Hi, I'm Pauline Fleming from ProactiveBusinessLeadership.com, here to share answers to burning questions that clients have that I think you might be interested in. So one of them is how to manage up. So if you're a leader and you have a boss or supervisor above you, how do you manage them, communicate with them? And it's one of the most fearful communications I see when I'm working on leadership development is they're great at developing their ability to communicate with their direct reports. By the way, get rid of the word subordinates. Do you want to be a subordinate? So what kind of language are you using, first off? And they might be okay with communicating with peers, although maybe sometimes they just ignore them and off they are doing their own thing, so too busy to really connect and just communicate at the regular meetings, and that's it. But then they really struggle sometimes with communicating to their boss. And they don't really bring the truth, and they're not as open and honest and transparent of what they really want to say because they're not sure how to. So think about it. If you had something you needed to complete and you were responsible for and you wanted to lead the team, how would you communicate to your direct reports? What would you say? Now, some of us are too direct. We tell them how to do it instead of engaging them in it. Treat them like human beings. I find this isn't any different than really good parenting. When I'm parenting with my teenagers, I don't tell them how to do things. I let them know where I need help and ask them how they can help me. It's amazing how they step up. And this is teenagers. I taught teenagers for 15 years, and people say, oh, it's the age, or it's hormones, or it's kids, and they're not mature enough. I gotta tell you, since my kids were little ones, they've taught me a thing or two about communicating well and leading well. Now think about communicating to peers. When you're trying to communicate to peers, we don't brag enough. We need to have a system in place that lets us share our successes of our team and let others know what others are doing well. Because maybe somebody from your team would like to apply to their team eventually, you've developed them enough and there's an opportunity that comes up, or vice versa, and you don't know anything about these other individuals that are considering coming to your team. As well as just sharing good news. So have a system in your regular meetings, whether it's weekly or monthly with your peers, to share with them what's going well. And it could just be a one-liner. Everybody shares one-liner, takes 5 minutes, done, move on to the next thing in the meeting. But it's amazing how much you build from that upwards rather than building from issues downwards. Now the third piece is then how do you communicate to your boss? Honestly, it shouldn't be any different than you would if you had to get something done working with a peer. Imagine having to get something done and you need somebody from another department, whether it's technology or sales, or even if you're on your own and you don't have any staff, you need to work with somebody you've outsourced to, a bookkeeper or a partnership or a strategic alliance or joint venture. You need to make sure that they're delivering on what you need from them, and vice versa. You need to understand how you can support them. It's a win-win relationship is what you're looking for. So no different when you're communicating upwards. Managing up is about what is a win-win? Where are you on the same page? And what needs to be communicated and put on the table to allow for that conversation to truly happen? If the elephants in the room, or as I like to say, the whales in the table, aren't addressed, then you're going to just be creating band-aid solutions and you're going to be frustrated. So make sure you don't label somebody or point fingers or send blame. That's the energy you're not wanting to bring in, and that's why we're afraid of communicating up. But do bring the truths into the room and explore them and say, can you help me out? And you put it on the table and you let them know what you've been struggling with, and then they can participate. So maybe you weren't clear of what the boss was actually doing with the decision that needed to be made for a project. So you say, I need your help. Can you help me out with this? I know we're having to get this finished in 2 weeks, and here's where I believe the decision is, but what you shared at today's meeting sounded like it was a different decision. I'm a little confused. Now you put it on the table. And you've also invited them to the table in a non-threatening way to work with you, because people love to help. Ask people for their help, and they'll step up. Treat people like human beings. Seek win-win conversations, and you don't have to compromise, you don't have to have mediation or negotiation, and you don't have to walk around quietly hoping that nobody knows what you're really frustrated with. Manage up, lead everybody. Lead at all directions, and first off, lead yourself. For more tips on how to answer your burning questions and grow your people, profits, and playtime, check out ProactiveBusinessLeadership.com.